Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are and where you are watching this. Hope you all have a fantastic Sunday. I'm looking forward to my day, truth be told. 2 good games on TV later on. So I'm going to kick back and enjoy back-to-back Premier League games. Later on this evening, we've got our Spurs preview. Myself and Gonzo have already recorded it. So if you fancy coming back a little bit later and catch up ahead of the game on Tuesday, quick turnaround. This is Champions League stuff, this. Play Saturday and Tuesday. I don't like it, truth be told. I've got used to Sunday, Thursday. And I've got a routine for that, but going Saturday, Tuesday, nah, I'm not keen on that one. Recording previews at midnight on Saturday ain't really for me, thank you. Long day yesterday, but anyway, that's up later on. Thank you very much for joining me. This is our interactive show, so I'll be taking all your comments in the live chat. So if you're watching live, please do get involved. And if you're watching on playback, you can open up the live chat and see what everybody had to say. But I'll be clicking on the comments, having a little discussion as we go for the next 25 minutes or so. My co-host Charlie is still ill, unfortunately. He had to miss the watch-along yesterday, and he's missing today. I'm missing him. I'm missing my Charlie, but hopefully on Wednesday, when we do this video post-Spurs game, he will be back and available for it. Right then, Matthew went to the game yesterday. He's gutted. DiCanio said, as Wise Man said on this channel, it's not me or Gonzo, Phillips is D-O-N-E, done. I had a message from him last night. Sometimes when people are... You make a prediction. If it's a positive prediction, you really want to be right because A, you're right, but B, it's good. It's good for West Ham. It's good for that player. Whatever your prediction is, if you predict West Ham to win, you really want to be right. But when you predict something negative, you want to be wrong. And Chris Akabusi really wants to be wrong about Calvin Phillips. I think yesterday just proved him right. And I've had a lot of comments on the video with Chris Akabusi coming in yesterday. And some people had only watched the video yesterday because they'd obviously searched Calvin Phillips and that video popped up. And then they watched it and they were like, wow, how right was Chris Akabusi? Because in between that recording, we've had yesterday's game with Calvin Phillips. Adrian with the bad news, which is once again, we're mathematically out of the title race. Mark says to lose after being 3-1 up was criminal. Why not bring on Mubama like for like? Phillips, waste of time. There's just 2 things I still can't get over, and that substitution is one of them. We're going to discuss it in a calmer manner than I was on the review. And the second one was the second penalty. I watched it time and time again. I just cannot see it being a penalty whatsoever. I'm going to disagree with Sai. Sai says... once again, no plan B. I completely disagree. I think he had a plan B. I think plan B was the problem. I think plan A was working. We then went to plan B and it fell apart. I think we ended up on plan E by the end of the game because we kept on moving everybody, didn't we? It's when we did the substitutions, Paqueta went up front and then we had Ben Johnson coming on at left wing. Then he went to right back. Kudus was on the left. He went over to the right. Bowen was on the right. He went up front. We ended up moving all the parts around quite a bit. I thought we almost seen 5 different lineups in the last 20-30 minutes of that game. Plan B, I absolutely think there was one side. I think that was the problem. Right then, we're going to get more comments coming in. We're going to just start discussing things, but we're kind of just pointing in the direction of it's not that way, it's this way, of SofaScore. And they're sponsoring this video. It's a free football app. You don't need to sign up to anything. All you have to do is download it. If you want a dummy's guide to statistics, this is the best place to go. If you want the fastest score updates from around the world, this is the best place to go. It's officially the fastest way of getting live results on your phone. You can download the app by scanning the QR code that's on your screen over there, or read a link in the description below. I'm going to take that QR code down in a minute, though, because I want to keep the comments coming up, and I need this bit to be free. And I'm going to have to reshuffle it, I think, graphically, so that I can have a space down in the corner where the comments can come up and not cover up James Ward-Prowse's statistics. But anyway, there you go. Do get involved. Thank you very much to anybody that does download it. It helps out the channel, but it's generally a really good app. I love working with brands that I actually use pre-brand deal. SofaScore is one of them. OneFootball, don't sponsor us, haven't done for a while. I still use it every single day. Anyway, thank you to everybody that does get involved. Kevin says, waiting for Hammershot to go live. It's like waiting for Moyes to make a sub. Did you forget to put your clock forward? I mean, technically, it's 7 a.m. at the minute, isn't it? So when I woke up at 6, well, before 6 a.m., I was awake today, 5 a.m. It was 4 o'clock. I've had about 3 hours sleep. Don't know. Anyway, Sai said, Moyes went to plan B, should have stayed with plan A. It was working. Wasim agrees with Sai, which if we didn't have a plan B, Sai said I meant an end game plan A. Okay, fair enough. Thank you for clarifying that. Much appreciated. Paul said Phillips getting finger to the fans, getting on the bus. Moyes, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. I actually had a bit of sympathy. This is pre-finger. I had a bit of sympathy for Calvin Phillips due to the fact that I didn't think it was a second penalty. And I thought this guy's luck is just horrific at the minute. Can it change? I think he was at fault for the second goal, but this is where things like that impact players. Phillips is probably coming on with low confidence anyway, concedes a penalty. Any smither of hope and confidence he had at St. James's Park was gone just like that. So he's under pressure. He must be feeling horrific. And then he goes out and you can't tell exactly what the fan said. It sounds like someone called him useless and he's giving the finger to the fan. I find my sympathy stops there, though. I find it difficult to justify that, really. Should players put up with abuse? No. But reacting like that is not a good look, especially when you've had a bit of a torrid time at the club at the minute. And it's almost like on the pitch, it was like, could Calvin Phillips come back from this? No, according to Chris Akabisi. Well, he's just made it worse for himself, really. I think he would have had the support of the fans. I think he still will to some extent, but I think he's also probably lost the support of some fans after doing that. Infinitely saying that the sub of Calvin Phillips as a cause. There's actually two subs, and it's funny, isn't it? Because I think the pivotal moment here was two players that David Moyes really wanted at West Ham for a very long period of time. One being Calvin Phillips, another one being Harvey Barnes. Both of them coming onto the pitch and changing the game. One in favour of their team and one not so much in favour of their team. But two players that David Moyes really wanted come onto the pitch, and Newcastle won it. One of them being the guy, Harvey Barnes, that Moyes chased. Tony said Akabisi can do his lottery winners. Harvey Barnes punches Soufal in the face, I think, before he scores, straight red. Why wasn't that? I don't know. Soufal was trying to highlight it to the referee as well. Luke from the Three Hammers said, very worried for Leverkusen. If we do by some miracle go ahead in that game, Moyes will crap himself and they will destroy us. They were 1-0 up until the 88th minute and ended up winning. Look, if you fancy joining me right now, let me know in the live chat. I'll send you the link on Twitter and you can pop on for 10 minutes and have a chat with me. Paul says, another example of Moyes messing up. Wake up Sullivan, giving him his P45. Blazer said Moyes a fraud. Arrest him with immediate effect for causing club financial and emotional damages. £6 million for half a year loan for Calvin Phillips. Wasim said after Antonio sub, the players' in-game management and our off-field management was awful. I completely agree with that. I mean, this is where, right, we'll do the sub first of all. I think the sub, it's either the sub or the penalty. We'll do the penalty first of all. I think the sub was more important, but we will discuss the penalty. Sometimes when I do this, sorry, I'm just trying to. There we go. Next, I'm just talking as I go through. I'm trying to buy time as I'm doing something on the computer. There we go. Right, that's that sorted. When I do things on the review, I discuss things on the review. Obviously, I'm doing it from a West Ham perspective. I'm biased. I'm going to be biased. I try my best not to be. I try my best to look at things, big decisions, from ironically, a West Ham perspective. My rule of thumb is if that penalty went for or against West Ham, how would I feel? Would I want that to be a pen, or would I feel we got a little bit lucky? Same with goals. If goals stand, so when Kudus scored, my sort of rule of thumb is if that was given against West Ham, would I be happy? The answer was no. I'd be fuming. I'd be sat there going, hang on a minute, regardless of whether you think he's faking or not, when does the referee never stop the game for that head injury and get Fabian Schär treatment? Or, and let's say in our case, that would be Constantinos Mavropanos. I'd be raging that the referee did not stop, blow up, and let Mavropanos get seen to. Like I said, as a football fan, I think that type of stuff needs to be cut out. I think too many players take advantage of the head injury rule in order to kill the game and waste time. But I would have been unhappy. So when we concede that penalty, do I think it was a penalty? I just don't see how that's a penalty at all. I really do not. I think they're both similar in the sense that Anthony Gordon gets in the way of the player trying to kick the ball and the ball itself But there's a huge difference. Soufal's not in control. It's a loose ball. Gordon gets in between, facing the ball. Gordon, in my opinion, is now in control of that ball because he's close enough to it. It's stationary enough. The Calvin Phillips one, Gordon's not even facing the ball. He's facing Calvin Phillips, and the ball's behind him. He misses the ball. I just don't see how it's a pen. But anyway, I often wonder if I'm a bit biased to West Ham. On the review, sorry, let me just withdraw one's hearing aid for Luke joining me. The amount of Newcastle fans on that review said it was never a penalty and they can't believe it was given just shows, in my opinion, that it was not a penalty. I couldn't be more convinced now that shouldn't be a penalty because Newcastle fans don't think it should be. In fact, there's one here now. A2 says, Newcastle fan, shambles of a penalty to make it 3-2. Can't lie. Delighted with the win, but nothing against West Ham. Good luck for us. A2, if you're still here, what did you make of West Ham? What did you make of West Ham during the game? How we played, the substitutions? What was your review from a sort of West Ham perspective, please? Carl said, can we discuss Zuma's lack of leadership? I don't see much of it. Motivating and shouting, encouraging teams to push on. We need someone like that at the back and further up the field. People can get involved. There you go. People get involved. Let us know what your thoughts are on Kurt Zouma. I'm reluctant to do it because when we do our player ratings, it's something I've been mentioning for quite a while now. And I just don't want to be a broken record. Despite what some people think, I'll try not to go on about the same thing all the time. It's difficult occasionally. But Jacob said, let's not blame it all on Moyes. Some of the players are to be blamed. Likes of Phillips and their defensive error is just rubbish. I agree, by the way. What I was going to say about the Phillips pen that he conceded, Phillips shouldn't be taking that touch. He almost lays it off as if he's in the middle of the park with no one around him. He just lays it to the side, gets his head up, looking for this long pass. Mate, you're in the middle of the 18-yarder. Just belt it, clear your lines. Especially when a guy is in that poor form. Just make no mistakes. Just go out there. You've got half an hour on the clock. Just make no mistakes. Just do the bare minimum. Keep it simple. Don't concede fouls. Just get through the game without making headlines because you're constantly in the headlines for errors. Stay away from that. Just chill out. And he's flicking around. He literally flicks at a yard in the 18-yarder and gets his head up as if he's got all the time in the world. It's just a stupid thing to do. So while I don't think it was a pen, I do think there was a little bit of, well, it's kind of your own fault to something. You give Anthony Gordon an opportunity to jump in between you. Right, let's turn to the live chat again. Massim said Prem conceded that second pen. Phillips has been too honest. He should have gone down. I completely agree. With that one. Ian said he doesn't think either are pens. Soufal kicked the floor. He was clumsy, but Gordon dives. Mark says, when will Moyes learn that we can't hold on when we go defensive? This goes all the way back to that game where 3-1 up at home to Brighton and drew 3-3. He's honestly mad. Wiley's saying, when will we ever? So you couldn't get a fair go. Can't help but feel he should have come on. He should have been the sub. Tony said Gordon's clever, put his leg in between the player and the ball. He was nowhere near the ball. Phillips didn't even see him. Same with Soufal, same tactic. Completely agree. Kennedy says, morning, chaps, one, just one, singular. There will be plural in a minute, hopefully. Kindest thing would be to let Phillips return to Man City at this point. Bloke's mental health must be at rock bottom. I agree with that one. It's getting a bit more serious and sort of on the pitch. William says, load of rubbish. Moyes made us stupid sub and ruined us. I don't care what you say. Moyes 100% in the wrong. I've literally said that. Anyway, maybe he's not talking about me. I don't know. It's hard. Chris says, do you think there's any way back for Phillips after he swore? Not really. I've struggled to see one. I struggled to see one anyway without him doing that, truth be told, but he's only just made it worse for himself a little bit. Anyway, time for a little guest. Luke, good morning. How's things?
Good, mate.
You good?
Really good. Yourself? Sorry it took a little while. My keyboard stopped working, so I had to get on-screen keyboard to type in the bloody room.
Anyway, well, thank you for joining us, especially impulsive. I just saw you in the live chat. I thought I'd get them on. What are you thinking about yesterday's game?
No, pleasure, mate. I was so wound up, mate, after the game. It's just every time we get the chance to, either close the gap on United or, make a bigger gap with the team below us, we always bottle it. All season we've had that chance to just we're so close to Villa or we're so close to United. And every time we flop. Like I say, I was really confident we might get Conference League again, mate. But now I don't know. I think that might be it. I think we won't get the results we need to just secure 7th.
3-1 up to lose 4-3. Where are you pointing the finger, Luke?
Mate, I agree with everything you said on your review yesterday with Moyes. Why take Antonio off? We see it a couple of games ago, exactly the same thing. You know, we're cruising in a game, we look good, we look strong. By taking off Antonio, you just take off that threat. You know, the defenders take that extra yard back when he's on the pitch. Like you say, you bring on the Mobama, even Danny Ings, just as someone there, just to occupy it. Just tell him, oh, stay there. Just stay there to annoy people. And we kept looking for that outlet ball, didn't we? Bowen can't do that job. It won't stick to him. Kudus sort of faded in the game. You can see Paqueta getting more and more frustrated in the game. It's just, yeah, I blame it on Moyes, mate. It has to go on Moyes. It has to. There's no other person. You could say VAR. I'm actually a bit disappointed that it was VAR because that's Moyes' back out. Moyes can now go, oh, you know, a couple of dodgy VAR decisions. We might have won the game. And that's where it's a bit frustrating. That's what pundits might use, you know, Jim White's and Simon Jordan's next week.
What did you make of the 2 penalties? Were either pens for you? Were both pens for you? Which ones?
I think the first one was. I think the first one was just a little bit late from Soufal. The second one, no, not for me. I was so annoyed when that penalty was given. You know, he's trying to clear the ball. It reminded me of the Balbuena one. I think it was against Manchester United when he kicked the ball and he sort of went over. And did he kick? I can't remember who it was that he kicked. It reminded me of that sort of situation. He had nowhere else for his leg to go. That was the only place his leg could go. Yeah. What about you, mate? Do you think there was?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. First one, pen. I've got no issues with that one. But the second one, I've watched it back almost trying to convince myself it was a pen. And I think it's just ludicrous. And to be fair, I think somebody made a comment on my review saying, like, while obviously the referee makes a decision, the referee's been thrown under the bus there because VAR's looked at it and said, go to that monitor. And as soon as you do that, you're putting pressure on that referee. You're basically saying to the referee, you've made a mistake here. Now go and have a look at your mistake and change your mind and come back. And that's what happens in the Premier League. It's not like European football as we've seen when we played Freiburg away, where the referee goes over and he's actually got the stones to say, nah, I'm sticking with my decision. I don't, Mr. VAR, thanks for the heads up, but I think you're wrong. I'm going to stick with my call. I'm not going to give that penalty. Thank you very much. That doesn't happen in the Premier League. It's almost accepting that when the referee goes to the monitor, it's going to get given. And I think the VAR, and the fact that so many people are split on this, some people think it's a pen, but a lot don't, whether it be journalists, pundits, ex-players. And the whole rule regarding VAR was clear and obvious. And it's definitely not that. It's definitely not a clear and obvious mistake. And the referee didn't give it during on field. He did not give it. But the VAR putting him over there puts him under pressure. And as soon as he does it, you can see Jarrod Bowen say to the referee, Don't fall for this, you know, the noise of the crowd, because St. James's Park were urging their team on at this point. They've got a bit of hope with this penalty shout. And you can see Boyd almost knew the referee's away to buckle here because of this lot making a noise, all the Newcastle players on his back. And I think my belief is the referee was probably looking for an opportunity to sort of level it up a little bit after giving our goal for Kudus when Shar was down. He didn't stop the play. All the Newcastle players and the backroom staff, I imagine, at halftime were on his back. I wouldn't be surprised if he come out feeling that he's maybe been a bit harsh to Newcastle. And I just felt any sniff of an opportunity to sort of give Newcastle one, the referee would take it. And it shouldn't be the way, and it might not be. It might just be sort of being a victim as a football fan. But you do feel that sometimes referees try and level up a little bit. And I just don't get it. I just don't get that penalty, Luke, at all. I just cannot bring myself to.
What did you make of the? What did you make of the one when Kudus was through and he was absolutely wiped out, though? Do you not think we should have got something there?
A lot of people do. A lot of people do. I'm going to assume you do.
Absolutely destroyed him. Flattened him. Oh, yeah, no. I'm not saying red card, but we should have got a free kick.
I think it's shoulder to shoulder, actually, Luke. I think personally, I think Kudus isn't in complete control of the ball. He's the one making the run, obviously, but I think it's there to be won. And I think if that was the other way around, if Mavropanos did that to Isak, I'd be saying, no, that's fair. Dan Burns' arm was tucked right in. He does. There's a lot of aggression, I guess, behind the shoulder to shoulder, but I actually thought it was fair. Maybe a little bit over eager, but I thought it was usually shoulder only. So I'm okay with that one. But a lot of people think it should have been a foul.
Yeah, sorry, my connection keeps breaking up. I don't know if it's me or you. I don't know. It just keeps going a little bit.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Well, anyway, look, I'll love you and leave you because it's Easter Sunday. I don't want to keep you too long.
But yeah, really distant. Yeah.
Good man. But anyway, come back on very soon and we'll have a good old hour-long podcast and have a good catch-up.
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate.
Cheers, Luke. Thank you. Right then, if you want to see and hear more from Luke, head over to the Three Hammers YouTube channel. Just search it on YouTube. Just search the Three Hammers and you'll find Luke more often. And we'll get him on in the next couple of weeks as well. Right, let's turn to the live chat and see what you're all saying. Royal says there's no recovery from this. We may not win another game this season. I disagree with that one. I think we will win more. We will win more. It's disappointing, but I think I'm optimistic we'll win one of our next two. It might be me being a bit naive and stuff, but so be it. I think we'll get something. Fluffy says, poor refereeing, VAR again. Moyes' substitution fiasco. Phillips caught wanting again. Many reasons we lost a game in which we were cruising at one point. Paul said, this is on Dangerous Dave. No idea. We should have gone for 4 or 5. Game over. We need a manager who's not scared to win a game of football. I'm just checking to see if A2's replied again. I don't think he has. No, he hasn't. That's okay. Here we go. He has replied. I've got it now. John says, from one angle, looks like Phillips actually kicked the ground. Certainly not clear and obvious. Phillips 100% played for it either way, and it was a weak pen. Lost still on Moyes' sub, though. Simon says we can't control referees and VAR, but we can control in-game management. And both players and Moyes failed big time, subbing Antonio for Phillips' decision. A2, the Newcastle fan, A2 said, I honestly don't think you were great. Didn't have to work hard for your goals. Kudus and Mavropanos were good. Subbing off Antonio was mental. He was causing problems and you lost your outlet. Tony thought the Kudus one was a straight red. By the way, I'm aware I'm in the minority, not thinking that was a free kick. I've seen it in the review and some people were saying, Steve as well, saying it was a foul, didn't try and play the ball, played the man, plus he was last defender and should have had been the red card. I do think it's a foul. If it's a foul, I think he should have been sent off. But, this one here, Chris, thank you. There was one I was trying to remember who it was. Kudus did the same to Mopé in the Brentford game. He did the exact same thing. Kudus did it as well. He's just stronger. I didn't think it was a foul, but like I said, reading the comments on the review, etc., I appreciate that I'm in the minority for this one. So, what I will say, though, is that the substitution, it's not just bringing Phillips on. It's the repercussions of everything. And there was an example earlier on in the game with Newcastle when Lascelles had to go off and on came Kraft. And it meant that Kraft went right back, Livramento went over to left back, and then Dan Burn went into the middle. So everybody changed position because of the one sub. Only Shah remained where he was. And when we did our sub, we had to shuffle the deck. Phillips came on, but it meant that he dropped in. Ward-Prowse has moved forward a little bit, and then Paqueta moved forward a little bit. And when that happened, it's not just we lose our outlet on having Michail Antonio up front, who I thought was magnificent. By the way, I think Antonio was tired. I have no issues with Antonio being subbed because I thought he looked tired at that point. There's a couple of occasions Newcastle midfielders were picking the ball up in close proximity to Michail Antonio, and he wasn't chasing them like he was up until that point. I thought he looked tired. And that's not Antonio's fault. If he's going to run himself into the ground for the hour, it's going to happen. A, his age, and B, he's been out for a large period of time and come back and had to play a lot of minutes in quick succession. It's probably not easy for him. I was pleased that he didn't go away on the international break, and I thought that was quite committed of him to West Ham, just to say to Jamaica, I'm not coming away for this international break. I'm going to stay back here in London, recover, stay on training ground and get ready for the run-in. I liked it from Antonio. but I thought he looked tired. But the repercussions of taking Antonio off, not only do you lose your out ball, you lose Paqueta in midfield, the one player who, up till that point, was getting the ball from our defence. The amount of times in the first half where we'd be under the cosh, there'd be a loose ball, he'd pick it up, maybe fend off one or two players, or just make a simple pass to Emerson. Maybe it's a better pass to Kudus or Antonio. Paqueta was the link-up man. And when he goes up front, you lose that guy. He's gone. So your defence there's nobody now taking the ball from your defence, sitting in front of your defence, picking the ball up and moving it. He's gone. He's up the end of the pitch. You can't impact the game like he was. You've then got Ward-Prowse, Souček, and Phillips, and they struggle to string a few passes together. So not only do you lose your main guy up front, you lose the main guy in midfield as well. And that's why I was really angry with the sub, because when that substitution took place, there was nothing. We barely strung any passes together. It was just a case of belt it, and it was coming back wave after wave, and we got off with a bit. Sean Longstaff, an incredible miss. Isak fluffed a chance as well. Harvey Barnes, Lucas Fabianski made a fantastic save from Harvey Barnes. I could have had another 3 in open play. They created chances good enough, just they weren't taking them. So the warning signs were there for a considerable period of time. The injuries, I thought, was a good thing. Probably ended up being a bad thing for West Ham, because it meant Eddie Howe had to make changes. One in particular was obviously Almiron. He just came on, got injured, came off. Barnes went on and went on to win the game. So there was, I say, luck. I think Barnes would have come on anyway. I just don't think it obviously wouldn't have been for Almiron. It would have probably been for Anthony Gordon, who had a part to play in the winning goal as well. Anyway, let's have a little look and see what you're all saying. Barry said didn't realise Kudus was playing, and he now has braids. Yeah, his hair's grown a lot in 2 weeks, hasn't it? Yeah. Ashton said Moyes out, Tony Frank in. I don't want Thomas Frank. I really do not. Honestly, I'm unhappy with David Moyes' football, like the style. Thomas Frank is similar. It's defensive. It's long ball. It's not the same, by the way, but there are similarities there, and I don't think I'm not this. I'm sorry, Ashton, to pick on you, but you once said it. But I see a lot of people want Thomas Frank, and I just don't get it. I think he's done a really good job with Brentford, by the way. I'm not saying he's a bad manager. I just don't want him at West Ham. I don't like his style of football. The amount of Brentford games, sometimes they'll get a good result and they'll play some decent spells of football. But I've seen us play decent spells of football as well, even though I'm generally overall unhappy with elements of it. There's also been periods this season where I've enjoyed certain games, or there's been halves of football I've enjoyed. But yeah, it's that Thomas Frank ain't for me. I mean, Ivan Toney, absolutely yes, but Thomas Frank's, I no thank you. Simon says Kone could have come on for Antonio. Lack of options brings us back to January. Amen. If I could just like this like 10 times, I would, Simon. I completely agree with that one. Iggy says if Eddie Howe can get the better of negative Moyes, guess what Alonso will do? Especially now that they've pretty much won the title. They haven't won it, obviously, but Bayern Munich messed up again. Leverkusen can now rest players for the West Ham games. In my opinion, Leverkusen have got so much of a buffer zone, they can actually rest players ahead and in between the games against us. That's bad for us. But not only that, this sort of official announcement that Alonso is going to stay at Leverkusen next season. He doesn't want the Bayern Munich job, and he doesn't want the Liverpool job. Maybe it's the Real Madrid job he's hanging on for. But he's going to stay with Leverkusen for at least one more season. That's going to get their players. Surely that's any doubts the players had, any worries they had Alonso was leaving, they now know he's not. Everything they need to be motivated and ready to face West Ham is there for them. They're winning. They're unbeaten. They pretty much won the Bundesliga title. Gaffer's staying. The last week, my sort of optimism for that Leverkusen game's decreased a little bit. They might go up again by next Thursday. Manifold thinks Dan Burn did foul Kudus and should have been sent off for that one. And Byro says what annoys him is how the top 6 focus media talking heads seem puzzled why the fans are against Moyes and try to dictate to us what we should be grateful for, and Moyes is good for us. Enough is enough. The one thing I will say is that we've had some entertaining games recently. One of my friends texted me yesterday, and said that he's not a West Ham fan, but he's watched the last few West Ham games. We've been on TV, haven't we? Some of them. So he's obviously watched the game yesterday, the game against Brentford. 7 goals, 6 goals. The game against Burnley, I think he watched 4 goals. So he's watching it as a neutral, thinking, I'm enjoying this. Of course you're enjoying it. There's loads of goals. There's loads of VAR controversy. As a neutral, it must be entertaining. It probably is entertaining. But that doesn't mean it's entertaining as a West Ham fan. It doesn't mean the brand of football is fantastic. The complaints regarding the brand of football, regarding the substitutions, they're still valid. Just because it's yielding high-scoring games doesn't mean that suddenly the complaints are no longer there. They're still there. It's just that the games have got more entertaining for the neutral. I bet Newcastle fans would have loved that. Non-West Ham and Newcastle fans probably enjoyed that game yesterday. 7 goals, 2 pens, a red card. Oh, yeah, very late on. A red card. You must love watching that. I would love watching that. I like games with that amount of action. I quite enjoyed the Brentford Man U one, although neither team's style appeals to me. Brentford had over 30 shots, 0-0 in the 90-something minute, and then bang, 1-0 Man U, bang, 1-1. I enjoyed that. It was good as a neutral. I'm looking forward to today's game as a neutral. But it doesn't mean, I don't know, some people, it's like talking to a brick wall all the time. And it happens so much, I think, am I the problem here? Like, is it me? I must say just me. There's loads of other West Ham fans the same as well. That's what Byron was referring to. Is it us? It can't be, right? Not when that many people have the same opinion. Richard said, what I find hilarious is TalkSport idiots finally watched us play and finally started saying the same things we've been saying, namely the terrible substitutions. I mean, I don't listen to TalkSport, and to sum up TalkSport, Jeff Stelling used to be good. Now, I think he's been TalkSport. Ed, do you know how we say some people say some players have been Moyes? Well, Jeff Stelling's been TalkSported, where he's just like trying to wind people up all the time. And it's just annoying. Right, I'm going to take 2 more comments then. Wrap this up, 3 more comments even. Steve says, I reckon the repercussions of the manner of defeat could be quite significant for confidence. It'll be rock bottom. I think we lose to Spurs. Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, I think we'll win. Honestly, I'm not even trying to wind you up. What to get out of that? Winding somebody up 32 minutes into a video. It's not the title of the video. I genuinely think we'll win on Tuesday. The preview's up later. Explain why in that one. Mark says, why is it as a West Ham fan the outcome was so obvious? It's really frustrating. Byron said, Moyes fans are saying, look, we're scoring goals. What are you complaining about? And lastly, from Lewis, it says, you cannot lose a game 4-3 when you're 3-1 up. In the second half, as soon as it went 3-2, you just knew the writing was on the wall. I completely agree. Right, now it's the end of the show. I'm going to promote Patreon in a minute, but this is time. If you don't want to hear that promotion, it's time for you to go. Please do drop a like on the video and click by clicking the thumbs up and subscribe if you're around here and you've enjoyed the video. Also, if you don't mind downloading the SofaScore app, that'd be really helpful. But you will enjoy it. Download it, give it a go, and see what you think. It's free to download. There's no sign up, so links in the description below. Right, off you go. Now, what I am going to do is promote Patreon, and the reason I'm going to promote Patreon is because that's where we do additional video content. So tomorrow morning, Easter Monday, 9 a.m. Myself and Gonzo are live with the player ratings for the Newcastle game. But not only that, you pay money. It's a financial subscription. You pay money. It's from £3.60 per month. So you can join the supporters tier for £3.60, less than £1 a week. You get additional video content over there. Myself and Gonzo try and create at least 1 video per channel every single day across 2 channels on YouTube for free. I know you've got to put up with brand deals like that in adverts and stuff, but it doesn't cost you anything to watch them. Without Patreon, we wouldn't be able to do that. But lastly, I want to point you in the direction of our prediction competition, if I may. It's something that we started a few months ago. We're giving away signed shirts. And for the next game, Spurs, we're giving away this signed Paqueta shirt. You guess the score, and you guess the first goal scored of the game. So West Ham to win 2-1. Michail Antonio scored the first goal. All the correct entries going to Bow. Pick one overall winner. And on Tuesday, doesn't matter which tier you subscribe to, you will win the signed Paqueta shirt. If you're a mild addict, which is £7 a month, you will also win a signed Tony Gale autobiography. And if you're an addict, which is £10 a month, it's not cheap, it's £10 a month, but that's for those who are addicted to Ham's Chat. They'll win the signed Paqueta shirt, a signed Tony Gale autobiography, and a signed Julian Dix print. Anyway, there you go. That's the old promo. Richard says he only sees YouTube clips. He's a Hammer from Down Under, so not too familiar with it all. Oh, sorry, you're talking about TalkSport. I thought you were talking about Patreon. I was going to say, hey, Patreon. Thanks, Richard. Patreon.com/Hammer Chat. Go check it out. But anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for keeping me company on Sunday. I will catch up with you later on with the Spurs preview. Gonzo, see you then.